Oh, bless your little indoctrinated heart. You really thought melanin was just a pigment, huh? Just a little extra brown sugar on the skin. Nothing major, nothing divine. You were pushed, pimped, and programmed to believe that your melanin meant nothing. Meanwhile, they've been studying it, replicating it, and harvesting it for centuries. They convinced you and the world they don't want to be like you. Yet they inject their lips, tan their skin, perm their hair, and steal your DNA for medical breakthroughs. Let's be real. If melanin was so useless, why are they cloning it in labs? Why are they conducting studies on its energy absorption and radiation protection and neurological advantages? Be sure. Tell me again how you're inferior? They told you all men were created equal, but did they mean you? Funny, because the same ones preaching equality were the same ones who called you 3/5 of a human. Told you your brain was smaller while secretly documenting your genius. Built an entire medical industry off your literal cells. If we're all the same, explain this. Why does melanin absorb and convert sunlight into energy? Why does it protect against radiation? And while others burn under the same sun? Why do scientists use melanin to develop bioelectronic devices, solar panels, and radiation shields? Sounds more like a superpower than a skin tone, doesn't it? But they couldn't let you know that. They had to convince you that your power was a curse, not a gift. And the best way to do that is to rewrite history. They say melanin is just a pigment, nothing more, nothing special. Oh really? That's cute. So explain this. If melanin is so insignificant, then why is it at the core of so much scientific discovery? But let's start with the basics. Melanin is a biological superconductor. It absorbs and transforms energy like chlorophyll in plants. Melanin protects the DNA and it shields against UV damage, preventing mutations and cancer. Melanin stores and releases energy, and scientists have found it to convert sunlight and even radiation into usable biochemical energy. In other words, melanin is alive and it's intelligent. But don't just take my word for it. Let's talk about those scientific receipts. What about Chernobyl? Well, did you know melanin containing fungi were thriving in the ruins of Chernobyl? While radiation was destroying everything else, these fungi absorbed it, converted it into energy, and kept growing. That's right, melanin can absorb radiation and turn it into power. Who would have thought that? Now ask yourself, if this happens in fungi, what do you think melanin is doing in your body? Let's talk about another receipt. Your brain is a powerhouse full of melanin. See, your brain is full of melanin, specifically neuromelanin, which regulates cognition, movement, and decision making. The substantia nigra, the part of the brain responsible of dopamine production, is highly melanated. More melanin equals higher brain efficiency. And let's talk about those disease preventions. See, neuromelanin absorbs and neutralizes toxins, heavy metals, and free radicals, things that causes neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. This explains why black people have historically low rates of these diseases until they started feeding us neurotoxin food, fluoridated water, and chemical-laced medicines. But go ahead, tell me again how melanin is just a skin pigment. Let's look at the third receipt. Melanin and mitochondria DNA. See, it's an energy connection. The mitochondria DNA, your body's energy powerhouse, interacts directly with melanin. And you know what? Studies suggest that the melanin can enhance mitochondrial function, helping your cells produce more energy. This means melanated people have greater endurance, recovery ability, and cellular efficiencies. Now think about this. Why do they tell melanated people to avoid the sun? when sunlight activates your melanin and boosts your energy. Why do they tell us to wear sunscreen when melanin naturally protects against UV damage? Why are skin bleaching creams being pushed in Africa when melanin is literally a biological advantage? Because they don't want you to access your full power, people. Let's talk about Miss Henrietta Lacks, who's the immortal blueprint. Ah, yes, we'll talk about this woman's DNA and how it changed modern medicine forever. Henrietta Lacks cells, the HeLa cells, are still alive today and still replicating and still being used for cancer research, vaccine development, and gene modification, AIDS and COVID treatments. Her cells literally don't die. And guess what? Her DNA was filled with melanin. So let me ask again. If melanin is so useless, why are they still using her cells decades later? Let's talk about receipt number 5. How science is obsessed with melanin. Let's be real. Western science has spent centuries trying to understand, manipulate, and steal melanin's power. They're developing melanin-based solar panels because they know melanin is a perfect light absorber. Creating artificial melanin for medical implants because it's biocompatible and conducts electricity. They're studying melanin's ability to block radiation to create better spaces suited for astronauts. So tell me, if melanin was just a skin pigment, why is NASA interested? But science says melanin is everything. It absorbs energy, it protects DNA, it enhances brain function, it conducts electricity, it does what synthetic technology is still trying to replicate. Ye are the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hid. That's in Matthew 5:14. Do you not know who you are? The truth was never hidden. It was just buried beneath lies. Now I want to show you guys something. Now here is where it gets funny. They tell you your culture is savage, primitive, and worthless, yet somehow they copy everything you do. Your music, stolen. Your fashion, stolen. Your dialect, stolen. Your medical discoveries, stolen. Your spiritual practices, stolen. Your very biological makeup, stolen. Literally. They call it primitive when we do it, but innovation when they do it. We had natural hairstyles, unprofessional. They wear it, boho chick. When we wore gold grills, it was called ghetto. They do it, it's called trendy. When we use herbs and holistic healing that the Bible created, they called witchcraft. They repackaged and call it alternative medicine. And yet they still need us, still harvesting our organs, still studying our melanin, still using our DNA to advance their technology. So tell me, who's really superior? Let me help you connect the dots with this symptomatic theft and oppression. If this was just historical misunderstanding, why do they still work overtime to keep us suppressed? Why are black neighborhoods still the first to be poisoned with lead pipes, 5G towers, and chemical waste? Why are we mysteriously disappearing, only to be found with missing organs? Why are our resources, inventions, and culture exploited while we remain at the bottom of their systems? Because it was never about equality. It was always about control. They could not compete, so they had to oppress. They could not create, so they had to steal. They could not stand beside us, so they had to kneel on our necks. But the gag is, the truth will always rise. The uncomfortable truth and the reality. See, they don't want to admit it, but deep down they know the first shall be last and the last shall be first. Isn't that what Matthew 20:16 says? And that time is coming. You can hide history in books. You can bury bodies in unmarked graves. You can rename and repackage African interventions, but you cannot kill what God himself created to reign, because we were made in his image. Ye are gods, and all of you are children of the Most High. Psalms 82:6. They tried to erase you, but you are the evidence of their deception. They tried to break you, but you are the proof that God's plan never fails. They tried to bury you, but you are the seed that keeps growing back. You are God's creation. You are the children of the Most High. See, here's the inevitable wrecking. Can you feel it? Can't you? See the shift, the awakening, the reckoning. You see it. The truth isn't something you can outrun forever. You can rewrite books, but you can't rewrite prophecy. For the nation and kingdom that will not serve thee shall perish. Yea, those nations shall be utterly wasted. Isaiah 60:12. The tables are turning and the veils are being lifted. The sleepers are awaking, and no amount of lies, manipulations, or stolen knowledge can stop what is coming. So tell me, are you going to wake up and take your power, or are you going to stay blind and led to believe and indoctrinated? Because ready or not, the truth is here and we are coming.